The Viltrum Empire is one of the greatest threats that we've seen in a while. A whole civilization of basically supermen, all completely intent on wiping you off the map. But how are they going to do against the Galactic Empire? Another one of the greatest empires we've ever seen. Which one's going to come out on top? Well, let's get into it. So before we get to talking about the Viltrumites, well, let's jump over to a galaxy far, far away and talk about Vader, Palpatine, and the Galactic Empire. During its reign, the Empire stood virtually unchallenged, backed with the Imperial Senate and a massive amount of technological superiority over pretty much everyone else. And the Imperial military is backed with vast numbers of warships and star destroyers, countless soldiers, and ultimately, no problem with simply destroying everything in their path. But in a fight against the Viltrumites, the biggest thing the Galactic Empire has is actually Darth Vader and Darth Sidious, and then the Death Star itself. And that might not sound like a whole lot, but these are Dark Lords of the Sith we're talking about here. One of the worst things that you can do is underestimate the power of the dark side. Like, Darth Vader is one of the most powerful Sith Lords of all time, feared throughout the entire galaxy, and he's such a threat that just him showing up on the battlefield is enough for him to win some fights. He's the chosen one, and he's just regularly gotten more and more powerful in the Force, reaching the point to where Palpatine is scared of Vader, begins to believe that Vader rivals him in power. Vader's Force power manifests itself in a lot of different ways, from telepathy to creating Force barriers or amping himself with Force rage. But his primary one has to be telekinesis. He's able to bring down TIE fighters, tear apart AT-ATs, bring down trees the size of buildings, or even bring down huge buildings themselves. His raw power is absolutely insane. And he's not necessarily just a bull in a china shop either. Darth Vader has pretty substantial control over everything around him. He's even able to force choke someone from all the way across the galaxy. And for as powerful as Vader is, well, Palpatine is even more. Darth Sidious goes absolutely nuts when it comes to Force power, being described as a dark sun blazing in the Force, a black hole in the Force, or an event horizon. In fact, he becomes so powerful that he doesn't just leave behind dark side nexuses at different places where he goes, but he himself is a dark side nexus, threatening to rip apart the fabric of space itself. Heck, the entire Galactic Empire, containing literally trillions of beings, is held together by Palpatine subtly controlling them. On top of that, he's able to drain the life force from other people, draining whole planets and civilizations dry, literally billions of people, in order to power himself up and fuel his dark side experiments. He's got powerful enough telekinesis to not just throw around spaceships, but he's got enough power to bring a 12-mile long and 2-mile high building crumbling down. The building was big enough to house star destroyers. Not just that, but he can even create and control Force storms, wormholes that can tear through space and time and destroy whole worlds. And he can have these things just popping up all over the galaxy. Then, of course, the Empire's secret weapon, the Death Star. Literally a planet destroyer. But you know who else are planet destroyers? Yeah, Viltrumites. Now, to be fair, it's kind of difficult to actually gauge just how powerful the average Viltrumite is. But before we get to that, well, let's take a look at the Viltrumites. And really the first question we gotta answer, why are the Viltrumites so stinking powerful? Well, it's because they have access to smart atoms, molecularly the same as normal atoms, but they give access to all sorts of powers on the atomic level. And the Viltrumites are unique because they can use smart atoms for a whole lot of different powers: super strength, super speed, flight, and they're the only race in the universe to have smart atoms literally encoded inside their DNA. That's what makes them so powerful. And just how powerful are they? Well, some of these Viltrumites are incredibly powerful. I mean, just here's some of the things they've done. Omni-Man could divert a meteor the size of Texas, a moon-level feat. Thrag could fight Battle Beast for 4 days straight, ultimately killed him. All Viltrumites can fly much, much faster than the speed of light. Invincible and Thrag are able to survive fighting in the sun. Invincible has been able to push around a moon. 3 Viltrumites even teamed up to help destroy a planet twice the size of Earth. They've got some serious power. But you also gotta remember there's like a huge gap between all these different Viltrumites. For instance, you've got the hybrids down at the bottom who are all so weak that they would literally kill themselves trying to attack higher tier Viltrumites. Then you've got your Viltrumite warriors who can still be one-shot by Viltrumite elites or anyone on their level. Then you've got your Viltrumite elites, guys like Conquest, Anissa, Omni-Man, and Invincible for most of the series. Then at the tip top, well, you got Thrag and Invincible at the end of the series. They're the top 2 Viltrumites in the Empire and can easily beat even elite Viltrumites. So it's not like you'll see a lot of Thrag level characters running at Batman here. The vast majority of the Viltrumites are not nearly that powerful. So here's where we circle back. Just how powerful is the average Viltrumite? Well, the baseline for Viltrumites has definitely increased over the years because they kind of self-select through genocide and weed out the weak, meaning that average is definitely a subjective term here. You kill the bottom 90% of Viltrumites, the remaining group suddenly has a new average, albeit a much stronger one. So for an average warrior, well, you're basically looking at a young Mark. I think that's the best that we can see for what's an average in the Viltrumite race. Able to lift 400 tons, he can train himself to lift more, he can fly faster than the speed of sound, near the speed of light, and while Omni-Man did destroy him in a fight, Mark at least survived the fight. I think that's kind of the baseline for what the average Viltrumite can do. But of course, even if not all the Viltrumites are explicitly as powerful as Omni-Man or Thrag or Invincible, they're still powerful enough to single-handedly destroy Star Destroyers. Each Viltrumite could take over a planet in Star Wars or battle against a pretty sizable part of the Imperial military all by themselves. I mean, what's a bunch of stormtroopers gonna do against literal supermen? Yeah, that's what I thought. And as for Darth Sidious and Darth Vader, they're powerful, but I don't think they're winning fights against Omni-Man or Conquest or especially Thrag, especially physical fights. Like, Omni-Man is seriously powerful, massively strong, incredibly fast, and ridiculously tough. Like, Nolan has even shown off a few multi-continental to even planetary feats for himself. He's also ridiculously fast. The best that we've seen from Omni-Man is being able to fly across galaxy clusters, possibly even reaching up to billions of times the speed of light. And it's been said before that his travel speed and combat speed is supposedly the exact same. So yeah, Omni-Man is stupid fast. He's also very, very tough. Tough enough to survive planetary destruction. And while all Viltrumites are kind of famous for fighting through fatal injuries, Omni-Man seems to take it to another level. And Thrag and Invincible are even more powerful than this. Genuinely, the only way I can see the Galactic Empire stopping all these Viltrumites is just that Palpatine gets to cooking up another Scourge virus in a laboratory somewhere and unleashes it on the Viltrumites. And I mean, that is a genuine possibility. It's happened to Viltrumites already, and Palpatine would definitely have time to do it, because the Galactic Empire is huge. It would take a long time for the Viltrumites to take it over one planet at a time, and there are just so many different alien species for them to procreate with and distract themselves. But that's really the only way I can reasonably see the Galactic Empire winning. Or you want to argue that Palpatine is powerful enough to take down the entire Viltrum Empire by himself with the Force. And we've never seen him actually do something on that scale, so I'm not going to say he can. More likely than not, the Viltrumites are just too powerful for the Empire to survive against. Just one Viltrumite is a planet conqueror. There's not many things in Star Wars that are powerful enough to injure a Viltrumite, and seeing how the Empire is lost to a bunch of rebels and teddy bears, I'm thinking a whole bunch of Viltrumites can beat them too.